Now, I'm quite an open girl, you know. I don't want to sort of, you know, hide who they really are, because I'm not bothered, you know. I'm very proud of who I am, and I'm proud of who I've become. So last year, I said to my dad, I sat him down, and I said, Dad, I need to tell you something. He says, are you pregnant? I said, no such luck. He says, why you say that? I said, because actually, I like the vagina. He said, what do you mean you like the vagina? I said, well, basically, I'm gay. He said, you're gay? I said, yeah. I like the ladies. I do not like the penis. You know what I mean? I don't like it. And he said, well, so do I. And I said, well, that's something that we share in common then. He says, well, have you got your eye on any girls at the moment? I said, well, no. I've been toying with the idea of maybe staying celibate. He said, why are you staying celibate if you like women? I said, well, I do like the vagina, but I've got a bit of a problem. He said, what's that? You can tell me, I'm your dad. I said, well, some of these girls, they don't shave, do they? And I don't like hair. Who wants hair in their mouth? He said, oh, I also have that. I said, do you? I said, oh, yeah. He says, I asked your mother to shave. I said, well, I didn't really want to know that about my mother's pussy, but go on. He says, yeah. He says, sometimes we do it like together, like a sexual act. I said, oh, yeah. He says, yeah. I put the shaving foam on and I rub it in really sensually like this. And I said, oh, yeah. Tell me more. And he says, and then I get the razor and I hold down her vagina very tight so it's taut. I said, yeah, go on. And then I pull the razor up and it takes all the hair off like that. He says, and I wash it down, I hose it down, and then I give it a good lick. I said, this is going too far, but I like it. He says, this is your ma we're talking about. I said, I know. Carry on. He says, and then when I finish licking it, I sometimes give it a good polish. I said, a polish? You give a vagina a polish? He says, yeah. But not with a Mr. Sheen. I said, what with? He says, my jism. So I thought about that for a while, and it made me so horny. I went up to my bedroom and I polished my own vagina, if you know what I mean. You probably don't know what I mean, because I can't actually get the jism out, but it was very close to that. I still don't have a girlfriend. Very hard to find one nowadays, you know, one that's normal in the head.